I think the biggest thing with any comp prep, or if you've got clients, is just to really understand your why of doing things. Because a lot of people get into competing because it is such a trendy thing to do. Like, everyone wants to get up there these days, I find. But is it for everyone? I think that's the first. If someone comes to you, if a client comes to you and they're like, I want to get on stage, I want to look like her, I want to do this. Like, the first thing you really need to speak with them about is like, why? Like, what is your reason for doing this? And a lot of it came down to education. I actually got into competing because it was at that time where I was super underweight and I didn't really know what to do, but I was like, I want to look like the girls that were competing, but how do they do that? And I actually started, well, that's how I came across clean health, was back 2015. And I just remember I got my train over from North Sydney and I met with Dane, and I was like telling him like, this is kind of what I wanted to do. And he was like, all right. So that was kind of where my whole journey and really everything started for me, which I will go into. I competed because I am very goal-driven. I'm very focused on having something there that I want to achieve. And I felt like that was that one, like something that you could really push yourself to that next level. I love training. I love dieting. I actually loved the entire prep. What I didn't like was actually being on stage. So that's always been a fear, as I said. But personal challenge and pushing yourself to new limits. And I feel like not just physically as well, a lot of the change that I've had over the years has actually come from like my mindset, which it's not always something you see, but I think that that's the biggest transformation as all. Fitness community. I have met a lot of my best friends now because of competing. I remember Hattie Boydell was one of the first girls that I had met. I'm pretty sure she did my first like posing coaching back in the day, and she's someone I still obviously very much look up to and admire in my life. So fitness community is huge for competing. Passion, you need to be passionate about doing it or don't do it at all. It's not something that I feel like you can just be like, oh, I might just do a little comp. But I think that if you're gonna do it, like, go all in. And then, as I mentioned before, just goal setting. It's something that it's there, it's hard, like you've got this goal, it's 20 weeks away, whatever it is, you can see it, the finish line is there, so it's like then structuring everything towards that. So I first started competing in 2015 with IMBA. I did fitness model. Not very muscly though. So this is where I first invested into having a coach, which was at Clean Health. Her name was Claire, actually. So this was honestly where my whole life world changed with health and fitness. And what I perceived was actually, well, I guess what changed from what I thought was the right way to do things to what actually was the right way to do things. So this is where I was like, okay, I'm gonna get a coach, but instead of what I think is right, I'm just gonna put all of my trust in that person, because essentially like they know what they're doing, I trust that. And I remember prepping for that show, I actually had to gain weight. I was on like way more calories than I ever thought that I could have ever eaten. And this is also where my love of heavy lifting started, because I'd only ever done pump classes and things like that. So prior to that, then I started to get a little bit in the weights room, but it wasn't until I went to Clean Health and I got a coach who then obviously wrote me a structured program, had strength training in it, did I actually really fall in love with that. So that's kind of where that all started for me. I then transitioned to WBFF, which I loved. I'm a very girly girl. I love the glam side, which combined fitness and everything like that. So I competed for the first time, came third, and then I came back again and I came second. And I have not won all the shows that I've done before. I've come seconds, I've come thirds. I put up in the before slide, and I didn't even place in one of them. So I think a lot of people give up really easily if like they don't, or feel really disheartened. But for me, The 2 shows prior to turning pro, I didn't win, and it just only made me feel made you feel that fire to want to continue going and continue progressing with everything. So then, once I won my pro card, I went on to become the European Pro Champion, and I was also first place there. I'm pretty sure Dane prepped me for those couple there back in the day. 2017 was the first time I competed at Worlds, so that was in London. This was actually the first time that I did I'll say a proper build phase. And I feel like that was the first time that I actually noticed my shape starting to change. I'm very straight up and down. I don't have that curvy, voluptuous female body with the big hips. I'm very straight up and down, probably a more lean athletic build. So to actually do a bikini category and to look like you have that curve, you really have to build that. You have to build your shoulders, you have to build the lower body so that you do look like you have that hourglass shape. Then my next prep was my first one with Mark, actually. And again, we did a really good build into this. So I think I got up to about 64, 65 kilos, and I competed about 57. And during this time, I also did a powerlifting comp. And I actually really love that. I obviously love my heavy lifting. My max squat is 150 kilos, and my max deadlift is 155 at 58 kilos body weight. And so during that time, having done powerlifting, during the build, it really took the focus off your aesthetics, and it made you strive towards something else. And I know a lot of people's clients freak out when it comes to a build because it's scary. Doing a build is terrifying for a lot of females when you really just want to look lean and look shredded 24/7. It's uncomfortable, right? So in order to, and it is called bodybuilding for a reason, right? You're not just meaning to stay the same. You're meaning to make improvements on your physique. So yes, there are going to be stages where you do eat less, get more shredded, or then build up those calories and then obviously build more muscle. As I mentioned before, it is a time where you can have your clients to focus on non-aesthetic goals, focus on getting stronger on their squat, on their deadlift, their hip thrusts, pull-ups, presses, whatever it may be. But I found that this really helped, and this was such a game changer for my physique transformations over the years, is actually dedicating time to being in a build. And even though it sucks sometimes, even though you just wish you're back into looking out in the mirror, lifting up your shirt every morning and seeing those abs, again, it's such a short-term sacrifice for the long-term gain. So I think that's something that you really need to drill in if you've got your clients doing a build phase. It's not this is temporary, right? But it is going to pay off tenfold if you just commit that time. And as they always say, you can't live in a calorie deficit either. So yes, it is nice being shredded and super lean, but it's also really nice to eat a lot of food. It's also really nice to spend time socializing with your friends, having drinks, eating more food, cooking at home, more adventurous. So there's so many trade-offs and so many wins that come from a build phase. This is the last time I competed, which was 2019. Mark also prepped me for that one, and that was my favorite ever physique, that best condition that I felt like I ever had. And so I came third in that comp, and I wouldn't have changed a thing because, again, I competed. Obviously you want to win, but I competed because I really wanted to be the best version of me. I remember in the worlds that I won, I went on stage, they told me that they didn't like that I do powerlifting in it. So it's kind of well, I never wanted to stop that. I never wanted to stop being the girl who lifted really heavy weights, but also did bikini and looked like this. So again, this is me building what I wanted to and how I wanted to look, and even though it wasn't what the judges wanted. Again, I touched on that earlier. Competing isn't for everyone. There are going to be people that say they want to compete, but maybe mentally they're just not in that place. As I said, it is the trendy thing to do, but if people come from with a background of already distorted eating habits, they're already training like crazy, have that really bad relationship with that, is putting them into a comp prep which is extreme. Like, you are taking your body to extremes, you're dieting down to low calories. Is that really going to be the best place for that person to be? Probably not. Work on other things. Comp prep doesn't have to be the only goal if someone wants to get in amazing shape. Do a photo shoot. If you've got a holiday coming up, whatever it is, set different goals if you don't feel like you or like your client is ready for that. The next one is, it's not a half-assed approach. If you want to do well in something, you need to go all in. And I think that's really applicable to anything in life. If whatever you want to do, like, go all in with it. And I'll talk about it in a little bit, but same with like your career. It's really easy to be like 1 foot in, 1 foot out, but until you actually invest everything into something, like, you're giving yourself the best chance. So if you're going to be competing, like, it's not just a part-time thing. It's just not something that you can do during the week and then on the weekends you're completely relaxed. Like, it is 100% dedication if you really want to do well. And if you don't do well, but you didn't go all in, then you've got no one to blame but yourself. You can't, like, don't just rely on peak week. I think for bikini competitors especially, like, everyone thinks that peak week is magic, but in reality, like, the hard work has already been done leading up to that. So you're either ready or you're not. So same goes, like, if you're prepping clients, like, it's not going to be like this huge magic week where a bikini girl's body is going to drastically change. Like, maybe small things, yeah, but make sure that you get people ready before peak week comes around, because again, it's not magic. Stop comparing yourself to others. When it comes to comp, it's really easy, and I guess anything in life, it's really easy to compare you, like yourself, with the person next to you. And as they say, like, comparison is the thief of joy. If you constantly open your phone and you scroll social media and you look at that person like, wow, she looks like that, or wow, they look like that, it very, very slowly is going to eat away at you. And I think competing is the same. Like, stay focused on you. Like, you're in that race, you're in that journey to be the best you. It's something that is super subjective, and you just have to focus on doing the best that you can. And as I said, like, it's the same with anything in life. Don't compare yourself to others. Comp prep physique is for 1 day only. I think a lot of people think that, like, you get in that condition and you want to stay that way forever, but the reality is, like, you're peaking for that 1 day. And it's actually, which is my next point, reversing out is equally as important as what, like, your comp day is, or the comp prep, because it's then how you transition out. You're looking after, like, your metabolism, how you're building up your calories slowly, maybe backing off cardio, etc. So don't forget, like, if you've got clients, don't forget to have that plan for post-comp, the same way that you looked after them the entire comp prep as well. So my next little bit about me is just going to be about business. So I want to know who is in the fitness industry but made a career change, who was working in something else but moved across into fitness. So there's actually, if you look around, there's actually quite a lot of us who have come from a different background. So for me, I used to work in the corporate world. I did a business degree at university. I majored in HR. I worked at a financial advisory in HR, which I honestly loved. But for me, I started to really love health and fitness at that time. And I started to become more interested in it, started to do a little bit of study into it, and I kind of got to a point where I was like half in, half out. And I was like, if I really wanted to make fitness a thing, I couldn't do both. And so my HR job, I think I was earning like $33,000 a year. It was in HR. But as I said, like, I really loved that job. My degree was associated in it. You've done like all this hard work to get to where you're originally in. And I was advancing in the company, so it was a really tough decision for me. It was a big risk, but I knew it was one of those things in life that, yes, it's a risk, but I was like, the day I quit my job, I was like, I'm going to work hard every single day to make this pay off. Like, I would never let myself down and like let this be a failure kind of thing. So my reasons for kind of wanting to leave after was, I guess, the uncapped potential to earn money. So going from like $33,000 a year to multi-million-dollar business, I kind of thought like there's uncapped potential when you are your own boss. I guess the downside was it's not just a 9 to 5, right? And for business owners out there, you know, you don't really have off days. You're pretty much thinking about your business all day, every day. There's no 9 to 5, weekends off. It's a 24/7 kind of job. So that was something that I really had to get used to. When I left my job in HR, it was very much a 9 to 5, would get the 4 weeks annual leave. You would never, ever, ever have to think about work during then. I used to go holidaying in Ibiza and stuff like that, never thinking about work. So it's just weighing up those options. For me, like, to transition from corporate, firstly, it was about gaining relevant qualifications and experience, because you really wanted to enhance your knowledge in that area. So do a fitness certificates. And at the time I was with Clean Health, so I was doing a lot of their courses and learning from a lot of the key people in there. Networking and seeking mentors, that's a really big one. And I guess why you guys are here as well. You're seeking networking with other people, seeking further education, and building practical experience. So how can you assist other people? Could you assist other trainers? What could you be doing to kind of bridge that gap between where you were, between where you want to go? So it's all about like just like learning, and really attacking that new field. I think when we first start out, it's really important to find a niche in what you want to be doing. And for me, I always felt like, and this probably aligns with like what I am on social media too. It was all about empowering women to lift heavy, to be strong, and to learn to eat more food to fuel your body. So that was always something that I was really passionate about, helping women with my coaching and empowering them to make those decisions and to learn from the mistakes that I had as well. So find kind of what aligns with you, what interests you. You don't have to be doing everything. You don't need to be like a master of like every little thing. Find kind of where you sit and where you really want to go hard on. And as Mark said yesterday, then you're going to attract the clients that you want, because that's kind of the area that you're going all in on.